We don't need to learn new chords and scales to move forward today. For many of us, the journey started here. Let me know if this sounds like you. We learned these open string chords down here. D, A, E. Took a while, a few months, or some of us years to get these to play clean, get a little rhythm. But it was exciting to get to these bar chords because that's when I really sounded like I was rocking. And then when someone showed me the minor pentatonic scale and then you could make a solo over this, I felt like I was going to be a rock star. My first year of playing was really exciting. I felt like I was moving forward. But as time went on, I really just stopped learning. I kind of got stuck in this first position, minor pentatonic. Still was working on a little better rhythm, but it was really a snail's pace as far as my learning. In this video, I will show you some great ways to move forward today. And again, we don't need to learn new chords and scales to move forward. So grab your guitar and let's check out these chords. So to start with these examples, we'll just use this E power chord here. G power chord. A. Back to E. So when I say power chord, that means without the third of the chord, just the root, fifth, is a B note here for the E, and then another E. Doesn't add this, and same with the A and G. We're just going to use the power chord to start with today. So in most cases, the first chord of a progression, you can either use a major or minor pentatonic scale over it, just looking at the root note. So in this case, it's an E root note. Most of us are familiar up here with this E root note in the first position, so we can take the minor pentatonic. So as you hear, the minor pentatonic fits over that really well, sounds very rock, focusing on the root note, the E note. And that's where a lot of us get off track. We get in a rut. We do not know the fretboard. And a great way to start is just learn those root notes. You could learn notes around there, but you know a root note is here in the 12th fret, because they're open. E, also here. 14th fret of the D string is also an E. You need to know where those root notes are. You can build off of them. You can use pieces of the pentatonic, little phrases, just off the root note. Nobody uses every note of all the scales. You just don't run up and down the scales to build a solo. You build phrases from target notes, and a great way to start doing that is to use the root note. That same phrase is all over the fretboard, and if you know that, that is a powerful tool because you can use that all over the fretboard. wasn't looking at a bunch of scales. I was looking at the root note, hammering onto it, sliding up to it. It is that simple. I think we all make it a little too complicated sometimes when we're improvising. So getting back to E here, if you only know that the root note and you're focusing on this first position, you only know it right there, this root note, well, guess what? You are going to stay stuck there. You have no confidence to play around the fretboard because you only know where it's at there. You need to know where those root notes are. You can easily build phrases from them. You actually will be using pieces of the pentatonic scale, but in a simple way, you can just target the root note. So this E note in the 9th fret of the G string, hammering onto it, 7th fret of the A strings, back to a root note. So getting back to this groove, and if we take that 9th fret E back to the 7th fret of the A string, just that simple. Root note here, 7th fret of the A string, root note here, 9th fret of the G string, sliding up to it, 7, 9, 7, 5, 7, back to the root note, 5, 7. You need to know where that's at all over the fretboard. And you will play all over the fretboard just with that knowledge alone. Early on, I did not do this. I stayed stuck in these first positions. I was afraid to venture out because I did not know the fretboard. Don't make that mistake. Learn the fretboard. There's many ways to learn and memorize it, but just do it little by little. Don't look at a diagram on your wall or something and think you're going to memorize it, because it doesn't work like that. You learn the root note, learn the notes around it. D to E, G, A, D, and what do you know? Up here's an E note. You can do the same thing. Finding the root note is so powerful. If you're a beginner intermediate player, you need to know where those notes are. As you learn chords, know where the root note is. If you're playing the E chord, make sure you know that that root note is right there and right there. Same with the A chord. There's many ways to memorize it, but do what you can to learn little by little, and you won't regret it because you're going to be a much more confident player. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. Let's talk soon.